In this video, I'm going to show how to replace the brake pads on the rear caliper of a KTM, Husky, or Gas. So in this case, I actually have two bikes that are very similar, so I'll show this in sort of a condensed version. But you basically need a 30mm socket or wrench to remove the rear axle. Once you get that axle out, which is one part that holds the caliper in place, then the only thing that holds it there is just this little piece here on the swing arm. So it'll actually just slide off of there. And then the next step is to just take a needle nose or similar, and then you can just kind of get in here and remove these little clips. They just pop right out. There's two of them, one on each side. And then this pin will push through. So I'll show you what that looks like on this one here. So you see that pin there. It only goes through one way because there is a head on one part of it. But once you get those out, then you can push that through, and then the brake pads will come out. Now you can see this one wasn't, totally gone, but the last thing you want is to be racing or, out there for a few weeks and realize it's bad and you put grooves in your rotor or whatnot. So replacing it early sometimes makes sense. Now, one of the two of them is shimmed, okay? So it's got this backing plate on it. It keeps it from being so noisy, etc. It's important to retain that, okay? So that's going to get reused from the previous pads, okay? So don't throw that away. It only goes on to you can't put it on the wrong one because these are they made up like that. So you can only put it on the right one. Now, once you get that pin out, I do recommend cleaning it up with a wire brush or something similar to get it nice and smooth, and then applying just a little bit of grease to that. Okay, and then the pads will just reinstall the way they came out. Now, the one piece to that, though, is this piston needs to be brought back in to allow for the additional width of the new pads. So the way that you do that, you just have to remove the top of the master cylinder. If you're doing the front brakes, it's just this here. The rear brakes, it's right here. You remove that, and then with a clamp, or even sometimes just your finger, you can compress that. On a vehicle, I usually use like a C-clamp or something like that, but these are pretty small pistons and move actually really pretty easily, okay? All right, so I got that area cleaned up so I wouldn't introduce dirt into my master cylinder, and then I used a 21mm wrench like that to remove the cap. Now the cap looks like this. Again, get it cleaned off so you don't introduce dirt or debris into the master cylinder. And then once you've done that, then you can actually just come over and compress this. Like I said, it's actually pretty easy to do. You can see it going in just by the force of my finger there. See that? Okay. So it doesn't take a lot, but if you'd like to, you can use, a atraumatic clamp or, a C-clamp, something like that. Just don't go using like big pliers or something that's going to put a bunch of scratches and stuff on there. But in any case, next step is to get those pads back in place.